Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Ram Om Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Ram Om Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Om Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Om Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Ram Om Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Ram Om Jaya Jaya Ram Om Jaya Jaya Ram Om Siyavar Ramchandra ki jai, Satgurunath Maharaj ki jai. Let us chant Navadha Bhakti after 34th Doha, the 4th Chaupai. Navadha Bhakti kahun to hi pahi. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama 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 Navadha Bhakti kahau to hi pahi Savadhana sunu dharu man mahi प्रथम भगति संतन कर संगा दूसरी रति मम कथा प्रसंगा गुरुपद पंकज सेवा तीसरी भगति अमान चौथी भगति मम गुण गण करई कपट तजिगान मंत्र जाप मम दृढ़ विश्वासा पंचम भजन सुवेद प्रकाश छठदम शील विरति बहु कर्मा निरत निरंतर सज्जन धर्मा सातव सम मोहिमय जग देखा मोते संत अधिक करि लेखा आठव जथा लाभ संतोषा सपने हो नहीं देखई पर दोषा नवम सरल सब सन छलहीना मम भरोसा ही हर्षन दीना श्री राम जय जय रामा श्री राम जय जय रामा श्री राम जय जय रामा सियावर रामचंद्र की जय सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय. We were seeing this very delightful prasanga of Navadha Bhakti. In entire Ramcharitmanas, Bhagwan has given teachings to very few people. One he gave teaching to Lakshmanji, and that we saw as Shri Rama Gita. Later in Uttarakanda, Bhagwan gives teaching to Ayodhyavasis. That is known as Purajana Gita. And the third teaching that we find is in the form of Navadha Bhakti to Shabariji. Lord of the universe, when he took avatar, teaching he gave to only 3 people. Lakshmanji, Ayodhyavasis and Shabariji. It is actually telling us how to blossom as a sadhaka. In our spiritual journey, what are the steps by which we can blossom from within? Recently I read somewhere, it doesn't matter whether you are a lily or a rose. It doesn't matter if you are a lily or a rose. What matters is, are you blossoming? So sadhaka might have different titles, different names. But most important thing is that sadhaka blossoming from within? Outside, whatever happens, whatever achievements he has, really speaking, what matters the most is inner growth. So the first step in this Navadha Bhakti, Bhagavan said, Pratama Bhagati Santanakara Sangha. If we want to start in our spiritual unfoldment, what we need to do is continuous satsang. Actually, now summer is coming. Many people ask, what should be my routine for summer? What should be my plan for summer? Actually, Navadha Bhakti is our plan. Bhagavan is telling us, start with satsang. Every day, our mind should be tuned to spiritual thoughts. Ramakrishna Paramhamsi, he gives one example. He went to a museum and he saw a fossil there. And he says, look at this. Animal has become a stone. That is the power of constant repetition of something. Like that, our mind, which gets disturbed at several things about different things, goes in different directions. If you are able to constantly keep it in satsang, slowly it will metamorphosize. It will change into a very different entity. In Ramcharitmanas, Goswamiji called it as the philosopher's stone. Whatever it touches, it gets the property of it, or it becomes gold. That's how they say. He said satsang is like that. Wherever the mind comes in contact with satsang, that mind becomes divine. Navadha Bhakti we saw elaborately in 2022 from Pujya Swamiji. If you remember, Swamiji had shared one very beautiful story about importance of satsang. Anyway, it's been 3 years, I can tell it again. Naradji wanted to know the importance of satsang, greatness of satsang. So he goes to Bhagavan and asks, Bhagavan, why do people praise satsang so much? What is the importance of satsang? What is the greatness of satsang? Bhagavan tells Naradji, this answer I will not give. You go to Naraka and you will find a worm there. That worm will answer your question. You go and ask. Naradji can go to any loka. So he goes to Naraka Loka, finds that worm and asks that worm, what is the greatness of satsang? That worm is so happy and it's about to answer. The greatness of satsang is, and it dies. Naradji said, oh my God, I was about to hear the answer and it died. He goes back to Bhagavan. Bhagavan, that worm did not answer. What should I do? Bhagavan says, you go to Bhuloka. There in this house, there is a parrot. The parrot will answer your question. What is the importance of satsang? Parrot can speak also. So Naradji goes, asks the parrot, what is the importance of satsang? Oh, parrot is so happy in its parrot-like voice. It's about to answer, greatness of satsang is, and it dies. Now Naradji feels something is wrong with him. Quickly goes to Bhagavan and he says, Bhagavan, 2 people I asked, both of them, before answering, they died. Bhagavan says, try once more. There is a calf in a particular home. Go and ask the calf. He says, first 2 animals were okay, but this calf can get me into trouble. Bhagavan said, don't worry, you go. Same thing happens. Before it answers, calf dies. Now Naradji is very afraid. He says, Bhagavan, please answer. Don't send me to another person. This time Bhagavan says, there is a prince in a particular kingdom. You go and ask him, what is the greatness of satsang? Naradji says, Bhagavan, you are after me. First 3 were animals. They didn't say much. If the 4th person goes away, what will happen to me? Bhagavan says, don't worry, I am there with you. So Naradji goes, asks that prince. That prince tells him, greatness of satsang is what you see in front of your eyes. Means, today I am a prince. I started my journey as a worm in Naraka. With your darshan, with your satsang, I became a parrot in that person's home. Just by your darshan, I didn't even speak anything. You just asked me, I saw you. Then I became a calf, and here I am as a prince. Naradji gets his answer. What is the greatness of satsang? Constant company of divine thoughts is satsang. And our destination is whatever our thoughts are. If thoughts are worldly, destination is worldly. Thoughts are divine, destination is divine. That is the greatness of satsang. Actually, satsang, you can look at it at multiple levels. This example shows us at a spiritual level what is the greatness of satsang. Good destination, clarity about spiritual topics, love for God. All of that is spiritual benefit. But even if you look at transactional benefit, one thing about satsang is it will never allow us to get defeated. In material world also. All of you are familiar with APJ Abdul Kalam ji. In his book he writes, he wanted to apply for the army, armed forces. And I think that exam, many people would answer, but there were only 5 or 6 seats, very few. And he ended up 10th. So he couldn't get in. That was his last attempt. So he goes and meets Swami Shivanandaji Maharaj. And he writes in his book, Swamiji only told him one sentence, and that changed many things for him. And Swami Shivanandaji's statement was, defeat the defeatist in you. Defeat the defeatist in you. Now that is Vyavaharik Satsang. Means benefit of Satsang at Vyavaharik level. It will never allow us to get defeated. So wherever we get a chance to think about God, to keep our mind in Bhagavan, we should be very, very grateful for that opportunity and protect those people in our life. This will include Balvihar, it will include our study groups. Wherever we can discuss about God, that is one form of God's blessing. Like-minded people. Have you heard that statement? We are the average of 5 people with whom we spend most time with. Whomever we spend majority time with, 5 such people, if you sum up their habits and choices, we will be the average of that. So very likely, if our choices are sattvic, means we are in sattvic company. And you know when we feel the most? When we come out of that company. When we are in satsang, we might not realize it. But when we step out, we realize what a protected Brahmaloka we are in. So that is the first sadhana. Pratama Bhagati Santanakara Sangha. Dusari rati mama katha prasanga. Rati means whichever subject mind starts understanding. There it starts getting joy. This is true even for a student in a university. If he says, I don't like some subject, what might be the reason? Very likely he has not resonated with it. Whichever subject he starts liking, or whichever subject he starts understanding, and the mind can go deeper, that subject we start loving. Same with spiritual topics. More we start understanding it, more we start reflecting upon it, and going deeper. By going deeper, if our mind can quieten, that quiet mind starts enjoying that subject. Now, what should we do to start understanding Vedanta and devotional text? First is, we should be regular. If we have long gaps in between, any subject, we will not connect. With Sanskritam also you will feel this. If you keep studying the same subject over a period of time, we start enjoying the subject because we are regular. And second is, we should give ourselves time. If I have started 1 week before and I get impatient, oh, mind is not settling, I'm not liking it, then that impatience will not help us. So we need to give sufficient time. Regularity, sufficient time. Third one is reverence. We will come to like a subject which we have reverence for. Patanjali Maharshi gives 3 things. Regularity, patience, means long period of time doing it. Third is doing it with reverence. That brings rati. So this sadhaka, a stage must have been there where he would look for every excuse to avoid satsang. People who tell him to go to satsang, he would avoid. But by Bhagwan's grace, his own punya karma, now if he has to miss satsang, he feels pain. He feels some kind of uneasiness. If he misses satsang, that is called as rati. There was one musician who said he would not perform in general. Even if great people call him, he would not go. Very selected audience he would perform. One day the king of that kingdom, he says, let's call this musician, let's organize a big concert. Now he calls, but this musician says, I will not come. King says, ask him, whatever he wants we will give. Money he wants, money we will give. What is his condition? He says, I don't want money, but I want people who are rasikas. Rasika means those who appreciate music. King said, yes, I will fill the audience with rasikas. He said, no, for that I have my condition. What is your condition? That musician said, in the whole concert, whoever moves, even a little bit, that person will be imprisoned. Are you willing to accept? King said, of course, if he has to come, this is his condition, I will accept. Maybe nobody will show up who will come to listen to an artist with such a condition. Means what? In ecstasy, if you move, then also imprisonment. Fly comes and you move, then also imprisonment. This is such a tough condition, who wants it? But he organized the concert, many people came. And they were sitting nicely, and very conscious. No matter how much you want to say Vava, you cannot say it. You have to sit still. But music has its own layer. In the beginning of the concert, it is one thing. In between, it is one. Towards the end, when you do that final piece, everybody was ecstatic. Around 10-15 of them could not hold back. They started swaying their heads. Now the king had given standing instructions. Note those who move, we have to imprison them. So this musician stopped after his final performance. King asked him, "Can I send them to the prison, 15 of them?" He said, "No, send the others out." Those people, other than these 15, you can send them home. Concert is over. For these 15 people, I will start playing now. Because they not only like music, but they have rati in music. Same rati, Bhagavan says, one should get in scriptures. Dusari rati mama katha prasanga. See, when we tell Bhagavan's katha, Bhagavan's leelas, one way of telling it is very factual presentation. Whose name was what, who did what. Particularly in Mahabharata, we go too much into details, especially that war portion. Another way of doing katha is, it should leave an impression on the mind of the speaker, not listener. Whichever katha we are sharing, that katha should leave an impression on the speaker's mind, such that we can take that katha for meditation. We can play that whole prasanga again at the seat of meditation. When we think about Bhagavan, that form of the Lord, those kathas should come to our mind. That is called as second bhakti, Dusari rati mama katha prasanga. Then the third bhakti was Guru pada pankaja seva, Tisari bhagati amana. Third bhakti is doing seva of our Guru, but avoiding the pitfall of pride. Result of seva is ahankara should become beautiful. What is a sign of a beautiful ahankara? A mellow ahankara. That ahankara which is small, that is the ornamentation of that ahankara. And the first benefit of a mellow ahankara is for the sadhaka himself. And the pinprick of a strong ahankara is also for the sadhaka himself. Both benefits come to the sadhaka right then and there. That is the greatness of this seva. Guru pada pankaja seva, tisari bhagati amana. For Guru, there are different definitions that are given, right? Guru Shabda you can open up and say, one who removes darkness is Guru. One who gives knowledge is Guru. Another definition of Guru, which many commentators they give in this particular chaupai, is from whom we happily accept criticism, from whom we can happily accept instructions, from whom we can happily accept correction. That is our Guru Bhakti. Guru Pada Pankaja Seva Tisari Bhagati Aman. He says Guru Bhakti expresses in this way where we don't hesitate to get corrected. Whenever we accept mistakes openly, he says we are growing in our third form of bhakti. Remember, we need not do it with everybody. But few people should be there in our life in front of whom we don't hesitate to take instructions, we don't hesitate to get corrected, and we don't hesitate to get critiqued. Now this is true for any Vidya. For Sangita Vidya also, these three things will apply. We cannot take feedback of music from anybody and everybody. But few people should be there from whom we don't hesitate to get critiqued, to get corrected. That bhavana is called as seva. That spirit in our heart is called as seva. Even though if we think we are 100% right. That is the beauty of a good student. Even if he thinks he is 100% right, he says, if my guru is telling me this, that means I have to introspect. It cannot be otherwise. I have to think how this is true for me. And such seva jet sets the student's journey multifold. That kind of seva which is in tune with Guru, it will take his journey far ahead from doing mistakes himself, learning on his own, struggling to grow, versus saying, whatever instructions I get, I will work on it right away. That is the third bhakti, Guru Pada Pankaja Seva, Tisari Bhagati Amana. Fourth bhakti is Chauti Bhagati Mama Gunagana, Karai Kapata Taji Gana. Glories of Bhagwan, stories of Bhagwan, he is sharing with others. But Goswamiji gives a warning. One should share without any kapata, without any deceit. We had seen one meaning of this. Deceit means person himself doesn't agree. Person himself is not convinced about what he is speaking. But he wants everybody else to be convinced. That is called as one form of kapata. Deceit. It will not help too much. Another form of kapata is sharing with some hidden agenda. It might be, like in Viveka Chudamani, Shankaracharya says, to gain popularity. Anything which is other than the truth. Any agenda which is other than the truth. That will be called as some form of kapata. If it is spiritual topic, any agenda other than God, that will be called as kapata. There was a young monk who went to his senior guru and asked him, what should I keep in mind when I speak on scriptures? His teacher gave him very precise advice. He said, always remember, you should never embellish your talk. Always remember, don't focus only on embellishing your talk. The moment you have done it, you would have stepped away from the truth. Moment your focus is only on embellishment, you would have stepped away from the truth. So sharing Bhagwan's glory, staying honest to the main goal, that becomes fourth form of devotion. See how nicely Bhagwan is fine-tuning bhaktis. He is not pointing out to a particular ritual as bhakti, a particular action as bhakti. He says, whenever you share anything about God, let that sharing increase our own love for God. Not have any other topics, political, social, anything mixed in that main message. That is the fourth form of bhakti. Chaoti bhagati mama gunagana karai kapata tajigana. Now the fifth bhakti, mantra japa mama druda visvasa, panchama bhajana subeda prakasa. Now until 4 steps, there was lot of activity happening. He went to Satsang, did Satsang for a long time, got rati, Guru seva he did. Then he shared this knowledge with others. So a lot of activities were there. Now as a result of these activities, his mind is getting more and more pure. What is the sign of pure mind? It wants to spend exclusive time with God. Sign of pure mind is it wants to spend more and more time with Bhagavan. So you'll notice a slight shift from 4th bhakti to 5th bhakti. 4th bhakti was, until 4th bhakti, there was some dynamism. In 5th bhakti, there is more of contemplation. Because mantra japa one cannot do while doing too many things. So he has to sit in one place and take Bhagwan's name. That is the 5th form of bhakti. It is said in Kali Yuga, out of all sadhanas, the simplest and the most effective, that is the sadhana of Nama Japa. But if something is very simple, what is the pitfall in that sadhana? We might think it is ineffective. Or we might think it is very small. That's why Goswamiji says, mantra japa mama druda vishvasa. One should do this nama japa with lot of faith. If I take my Ishtadevata's name, whatever obstacles I am facing in my life, material life and spiritual life, both will be removed with that blessing. Mantra japa mama druda visvasa. Now japa is an elaborate topic by itself. We had seen this in Upadesha Sara, when the topic of japa, Ramana Maharshi elaborates. He says our sadhana should be at 3 levels. Pujanam, japaha, chintanam. Means some part of our sadhana we should do puja. Some part of our sadhana we should spend in japa. And third part is in meditation, chintanam. Now for japa, there is guidance given in Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Patanjali Maharshi says, whenever we take name of the Lord, along with bhavana in our heart, that is called as japa. Chanting the name along with emotion. And the beauty of name is, name and what is indicated by the name, they are connected. Unless you call out the name, that object will not manifest in the mind. If I say lion, now until I said lion, you were not thinking of lion. But moment you hear lion, try not to bring the form of the lion. You cannot, because that word is connected with a form. So nama is connected with nami. Similarly, when we take Bhagwan's name, whatever is our understanding of Bhagwan, that becomes available in our mind. This kind of practice is called as japa. So what is our understanding of Bhagwan? If you have studied Vedanta, our understanding should be Bhagwan is all powerful. Bhagwan is Lord of this universe. Whatever results I have to get in my life, the one who is going to give me is Bhagwan. Karma phala data. That's why 8th chapter, 1 verse, he had said we should try to remember. Which verse was it? Kavim Puranam Anushasitaram Anoraniyam Samanusmaredyah Sarvasya Dhataram Achintya Rupam Aditya Varnam Tamasaf Parastat. These are the indicators of Bhagavan. Kavim Puranam Anushasit. In simple words, Bhagwan is all powerful. That all powerful Lord is my Lord. My Ishtadevata is like that, whose name I am chanting. That is called as japa. Now, how to fine tune japa such that it becomes effective? 8th chapter only we find a lot of subtle guidance. Otherwise, what happens, japa becomes very mechanical. Mala after mala, it keeps going on. Mind keeps roaming all around. What did Bhagwan Krishna say? First, control sense organs. Quieten the mind. Then find a point to focus. Murdhya adhaya. You can find the crown of the head to focus, but you can say any form of the Lord. That is your altar to focus. If it is sun god, Gayatri mantra for example, you can take sun as the altar. So keeping mind on that altar, chant the name. Vyaharan mam anusmaran. In this way, our japa will become more effective. 3 steps were there. First is to withdraw the mind. So some time has to go to quieten sense organs and the mind. Then to focus on an altar. Who is my Bhagavan? Some altar we have to take. Then do this chanting with a focused mind. This regular practice is the 5th form of bhakti. Now this same name chanting, because object is single pointed, it makes the mind single pointed. We are keeping one object and repeating the same name, so mind slowly starts becoming single pointed. So japa brings chitta ekagrata, single pointedness of the mind. Now if somebody says japa is little difficult for me, same name 108 times, then they say, okay, do nama sankirtanam. Same name you have to repeat, but you can add laya tala. You can add music to it, you can add beats to it. Then it becomes nama sankirtanam. Now somebody says, same name with laya tala, I want little more variety. Then they say, okay, add different names of the same Lord. Madhava Madhusudana Giridhari Giridhari. Now Madhava, Madhusudana, Giridhari. All three are names of Bhagavan Krishna. So that becomes Stavanam or Bhajanam. So bhajan is where we have different names of the Lord along with Laya Tala. Nama Sankirtanam, same name of the Lord. Sometimes many names also, but it's more subtler. Like Shivaratri day, we do Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya is a japa. But if you add tune to it, it is Nam Sankirtanam. Little more subtler is just quiet japa. You see the far-sightedness of our rishis. They said, if you only give mind as the support to do japa, we will not know when the mind flies away. But if you add too many actions, then also you don't get benefit of japa. Like for children we do, right? You do meditation with your hands like this. You have to touch the other person, then the other person, and so on. Now it is okay for children, but for sadhaka, too many actions is a distraction. So what did they do? They gave us a bead. They said, do minimal action, but it is sufficient to catch your mind. So with every bead, try to see if you can bring your mind to your goal. If Bhagwan is in the form of sun and I'm chanting Gayatri Mantra, see after every chant if that bhavana is still there. Dhiyo yona prachodayat. May that cosmic intelligence shine in my intellect. Is this bhavana still there or has some worldly thought entered? If it has entered, correct it, then do the next one. So like this, if you do, you'll realize one mala can take good 15-20 minutes. If you are catching the mind every time. That is the four-sightedness of our rishis. They connected kriya with japa and chintanam. Action connected with speech and thought. And without losing the benefit of japa. If they had to add too many actions, then also mind doesn't settle down. Very minimal action. That is this fifth form, mantra japa mama druda viswasa. So in summer, what should I do? Consider these practices, but along with attention. If you are feeling these practices are not showing the results, we have to reanalyze. Am I doing it correctly? Can I fine-tune my focus in these practices? Now the sixth form of devotion is where the sadhaka is becoming more and more introvert. Gurudev uses a word, healthy introvertedness. A person can become introvert at the cost of bitterness towards the world. Some experience was there that he didn't like, and he says, now I'm going to become an introvert. This is not that kind of introvertedness. He has done his seva in such a way that his rajo guna and tamo guna have gone down. And what he is left with is pure sattva guna. What is the nature of sattva guna? Knowledge and clarity. What is the nature of rajo guna? Activity, dynamism. If it is unchecked, dynamism converts into restlessness. That he has overcome through karma yoga, And in his sattvic frame of mind, his mind naturally seeks for knowledge. Mind naturally wants to do more sadhana. So whatever is not needed, whatever he need not do, he does not do. See the sixth sadhana. Chata dama sila birati bahu karma. Sixth form of devotion is withdrawal. Dama means withdrawing. Shila, withdrawing with a pleasant mind. See, Goswamiji adds that word. If Shila is not there, person might withdraw out of bitterness. He says, no, he has found a higher goal for which he needs time. And the natural expression of that is birati bahu karma. There is a strong connection between doership and actions. If doership wants to express as big, and if doership is holding on to actions, how will it want to express as big? By doing more actions. That's why if you see governments when they form portfolios, when they distribute, greater the number of portfolio, person feels I'm greater in the cabinet. Means what? More karma I can do, the karta, ahankara, feels satisfied. What is the beauty of this sadhaka? His ahankara has mellowed down. Whatever he is supposed to do, he does. And whatever he need not do, he doesn't do. This is the only way he can get time. Gurudev has one quote where he says, we end up in lot of problems because we don't know the art of saying no. We end up with overcommitment because we don't know the art of saying no. But we have to understand it carefully. Tamasic person also says no for everything. You say anything to that person, no. First answer is no. This no is from a sattvic person. He knows what is my dharma, what is my duty, and what is kamya karma or nishiddha karma. What am I doing because I like to do versus what am I doing because I am supposed to do. This clarity is the sixth stage of devotion. Sixth form of devotion is this clarity and slowing down of actions. If you look at it differently, only that action which leads us towards self-abidance, which leads us towards nivrutti, that action can be called as sadhana. I will repeat this. Two words are there, pravrutti and nivrutti. Pravrutti means what? One example is you keep walking from one place to another. That is your pravrutti. Having walked some distance, what is your main goal of walking? Somewhere I should sit down. If I say, since 2 days I am walking, that kind of walking is not good for me. That means I either don't know where I am supposed to go or have misunderstood my directions. That walking you replace by karma. So those actions which will make the mind quiet, those actions which will lead the mind towards knowledge, those actions are sattvic actions, those actions are sadhana-like actions. And this withdrawal is not inaction. If a person thinks, I will retire, give up all my actions, and sit down just in one place, his mind will eat him up from inside. Here, withdrawal means doing subtler actions. His sadhana is also an action, but it is subtler. Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam are also actions, but they are more deeper. In Viveka Chudamani class, we saw Bahiranga sadhana and Antaranga sadhana. One sadhana is Paramparagata sadhana, periphery. Then little bit inside is Bahiranga sadhana. Then the subtlest one is Antaranga sadhana. Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam is Antaranga. So that sadhana he is doing now. That is the sixth form of devotion. Nirata Nirantara Sajjana Dharma. And in his available time, what does he do? He tries to study his own mind. Sajjana Dharma means whatever limitations are there in his mind, he tries to overcome them through vichara. This also we will notice when we are busy, we really don't know our vasanas. Because at that time, only our external mind, conscious mind is active. Whenever we are quiet, whenever we slow down actions, and if we very carefully note our thoughts, that is when we can catch what is the nature of our mind. Subconscious mind starts appearing, and that needs work. So solitude is a very busy project. Because we have to work on our own mind. And who is the guru in solitude? See, in solitude we are with nobody. Guru in solitude is our intellect, which has all right ideas through Shravanam. Now it is trying to work on its little brother. Who is the little brother? Mind. Although he is little brother, he controls transactional life. How we will respond in this world, who decides? Mind decides. Intellect might keep on saying, do this, do that. Mind is the one who will be Sajjana or Durjana. So Nirata Nirantara Sajjana Dharma. Constantly he is engaged in working on this mind. That is the sixth form of devotion. Satavasama Mohimaya Jagadeka. Seventh form of devotion is, as a result of his thinking, result of his solitude, he has come to see this whole world as God. Satavasama. Sama means that equanimous Brahman, that truth. Now he is seeing as this whole universe. Satavasama Mohimaya Jagadeka. Thing to note here is, this kind of vision comes after a lot of hard work. It is seventh form of devotion. Mote Santa Adhika Kari Lekha. Greater than Bhagwan, he considers saints in his life who have introduced him to Bhagwan. That's why you see Shabriji, when Bhagwan Rama comes, whom does she remember? Matanga Rishi. That is the seventh form of devotion. Eighth form is Atava Jatha Labha Santosha. Whatever Bhagwan blesses him, he is content with that. This thought doesn't bother him that I don't have something. This thought doesn't preoccupy his mind. Contentment is the 8th form of bhakti. Goswamiji adds another part to it. Sapane ho nahi dekhai paradosha. Even in dream, he doesn't see another person's fault. Having this kind of a mindset is the 8th form of devotion. Why is this devotion presented in this way? One thing is, we see the world first by bringing it in our mind. World, if you have to analyze, understand, it has to pass through our mind. And whatever passes through our mind leaves an impression. So if we are focusing on gunas, good qualities of somebody, whenever it goes through our mind, somewhere it will leave an impression. If good qualities leave an impression, what about doshas? They will also leave an impression. See, impression means what, you know? Very soon it is going to become our nature. Impression means that it's not a neutral entity. It has gotten deep into the blueprint of vasana. And very quickly it is going to come up as a thought. If I repeat that thought, it will become my habit. So Goswamiji says, devotee is very careful. Any dosha he finds outside, he is not naive enough to not notice it. He notices it very well. But he says, I am not interested in bringing it inside. Just like some dirt might be there on the street. We see it, but we don't go and look into it. External things. Why? Because we know what is the consequence of getting in touch with it. Same with dosha. Whatever dosha we think, one another drawback is, whenever we see dosha in others, it gives an impression that dosha is not in us. Or we are better than the other person. And what does a Siddhanta say? If it is not there today, wait for some time, it will come. If we keep thinking about dosha, that dosha will make its way to us. Now, if it is somebody's duty to point out dosha, correct dosha, that is out of dharma they are doing it. But who is being pointed out in this verse is sincere sadhaka, who gets caught up in analyzing others' dosha. So there Goswamiji says, his mind is free from analyzing dosha outside. If guna is there, happily take it. Then the last form of bhakti is Navama Sarala Sabasana Chalahina. Straightforwardness is the 9th form of devotion. What looks so simple, Goswamiji puts it as 9th form. So if you want to define a bhakta, how will you define? जो सरल है वो साधक है. One who is saral, that person is a sadhak. This is Swami Akhandanandji's statement. And he says, saral बनना सबसे कठिन है. To become simple and straightforward is the most difficult thing. Because vasana tells one thing. Intellect tells something else. Mind wants to do something else. and he actually ends up doing totally different. So his life, if he sees closely, it is full of contradictions. But if somebody is able to align their vasanas with Shubha vasanas, gain scriptural perspectives in the intellect, mind cooperates in executing those spiritual perspectives, and his life embodies value and dharma, that is called as saralata. Even if one of these things is missing, then that saralata will not come. Imagine, externally he is trying to live values. Mind is trying to cooperate with intellect. But vasanas are all Ashubha vasanas. At least at that time he will struggle. So vasana, buddhi, mana and vyavahara. In vyavahara we should add speech as the main vyavahara. Seamlessness with all these things is a ninth form, which is called as ninth devotion. Mama bharosa hiya harashana dina. His faith is in me, doesn't get swayed too much by ups and downs of life. He is my devotee. Then Bhagwan says, O Shabariji, listen, I was not teaching you, I was just telling your qualities. Soi atisiya priya bhamini more sakala prakara bhagati drudatore. Out of this 9, if a person has even 1, then he is called a bhakta. He has done great journey in his spiritual life. You are somebody who has all 9 blossomed. So Shabariji said, I cannot sing your stuti. Bhagavan said, let me tell you Navadha Bhakti, this is your stuti. If he had told in the beginning, I am going to talk about you, Shabariji would not have listened. So Bhagavan first elaborates, then he says, now he gives another beautiful pointer. He says, O Shabariji, you saw me, which means that destination which great Rishimunis get, that destination you are going to get. This is a very popular chaupai. Mama darasana phala parama anupa. 5th chaupai after 35th Doha. Jiva pava nija sahaja sarupa. The one who sees the Lord comes to abide in the self. And it is amogha result. Amogha means it cannot be otherwise. Mama darshana phala paramanupa. Then Shabariji tells Bhagwan to go to Pampa Sarovara, where he will meet all the Vanaras and find further direction for Sitaji. And with her yoga agni, she gives up her body. So she was appearing to be ordinary, but she had great yogic powers. Shabariji. Then Goswami Tulsidas Ji, look at the last line of that chandas. Nara bibida karma adharma bahumata soka prada sabatyagahu biswasa karikaha dasa tulasi rama pada anuragahu. He said there are so many karma, dharma and so many other things which are pointed out. All of them have difficulties in doing them. He said just take Bhagwan Rama's name. That is the most simplest sadhana to do. Okay. So with that, we will pause for summer. It was a great joy. We got several classes this semester, 4 months. Over the summer, let's stay in touch with Ramcharitmanas. We should take our own sadhana, whatever we think we can hold on to. And my thanks to all our sevaks, our AV sevaks, our bhajans, those who sang, those who coordinate, invoke Bhagwan's grace on each and every one. अगणित गुणगण भूषण रामा आश्रित वत्सल जय जय रामा अयोध्यवासी सीता रामा आपद्बान्धव जय जय रामा दशरथ नंदन श्री रामा दशमुख मर्दन जय जय रामा कौसल्या सुखवर्धन रामा कामित फलदाय जय जय रामा पाप विमोचन श्री रामा पट्टाभिरामा जय जय रामा जानकी वल्लभ सीता रामा जय रघुरामा जय सीता रामा वानर सेवित श्री रामा वारिधि बंधन जय जय रामा हनुमत पूजित सीता रामा श्री राम जय जय रामा रघुपति राघव राजा रामा पतित पावना सीता रामा श्री राम जय जय रामा श्री राम जय जय रामा सियावर रामचंद्र की जय सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। हरि ओम एवरीवन, हरि ओम।